And we're live here with Tom Guerrero. Good to see you, Tommy.
How you doing?
I'm doing good. Tom, I'm just going to ask you about 10 to 12 questions. And I just want you to answer, honestly, what comes to the tip of your tongue when you hear the questions. The first question I have for you, Tom, is who or what brought you to hunting? How did hunting become part of your life?
I always wanted to hunt since I was younger, and like one of those dumb young kids, found a girl that was against hunting and says, you know what, I'm not gonna do this, and then got married and realized that there's something else in life that I need to do, and decided I want to try this out, and went out for hunting for the first time, and saw some deer and turkeys, and this is great seeing wildlife out in nature, and
Right.
and says I'm gonna try it, and all of a sudden you see the first deer you get, and you get a shot, and you're hooked instantly.
Right.
It was.
So
It was incredible.
who was it that first brought you out? Was it family? Was it friends?
Family, friends. My brother hunted earlier on, and the first time I had been out, it was I saw a spike the very first time,
Right.
and I was hooked instantly.
Instantly. Yep, I know how it is. Tom, if there's a particular hunter or hunters for that matter that you respect, who would that be and why?
Oh, I tell you right now, the guys that I respect are the guys that can see the blood. I'm a little bit colorblind, so I shoot a deer and I have to start tracking blood. It's real difficult, and there's probably three guys that see the blood, or when I'm looking for something that I call on most often, it's Pat Donovan, Sean Donovan, and Michael Bernardi. They've had the most experience with tracking deer and seeing blood, and they pick it up instantly.
Yeah.
First time is I'm looking for those guys to help me out.
Yeah, I've certainly been there and called on them, the Three Musketeers, as we know. Absolutely. Tom, I'm going to ask you to use just 3 words, okay? You only get to use 3 words, but using these 3 words, describe the hunting experience.
Incredible, exhilarating, and fulfilling.
Those are 3 good words. Absolutely. Also, only using 3 words. Give me the 3 attributes that you feel a hunter needs to possess.
You have to be a conservationist, without a doubt. You have to respect wildlife, and I respect nature. I guess a third word would be. Let's quick with a third word on this. It's a tough one,
What do you need to be successful as a hunter?
Be successful, you have to persevere.
Persevere.
You persevere. You sit out there, and there's days that it's cold and windy and rough and rainy, and you stay out there for the long haul. It's perseverance.
Perseverance. Yep, absolutely. I agree. You've been hunting for a while. You've had a lot of harvests. A lot of great experiences for that matter. Is there any particular experience that is indelibly printed on your mind?
Oh, number one has got to be the most recent one with my son. By far, even before my first kill, there's my son. First time out hunting, he's thinks he shoots something early in the morning, and I tell him to sit tight. And we end up going looking for a blood trail, and while we're looking for a blood trail, he hears some noise, and at a moment's notice, these deer come crashing through the woods looking at us, and he's able to get a shot, and I'm trying to call him, and he shoots his first deer ever gun hunting, and it was the most incredible experience standing next to him in the middle of the woods
That is incredible.
while he's able to harvest his first deer.
I mean, that's. Can you write it better?
No.
You cannot.
By far the greatest experience hunting ever.
Right,
Is standing with my son while he's shooting, you know, and harvesting a deer.
The only downside is it's tough to see a more rewarding one in the future. I mean, that is
Unless
amazing.
he's shooting.
I mean, that is amazing.
Monster.
Maybe your
buck.
grandson.
My grandson. If the three of us are standing together, but
Right.
standing next to him in the woods, it just the way it worked out was perfect.
That's a tough one. Well, in that vein, you mentioned your son. Obviously, you're mentoring him. Is there anyone else that you're mentoring or have your eye on mentoring?
My nephew is starting to hunt again. He's just getting into it now, and hopefully, you know, with the same kind of luck, you know, can end up taking him out and showing him the woods and showing him the way it's supposed to be, and, you know, respecting the animals, respecting nature.
Right.
And with any luck, it's just the same result.
Absolutely. Unfortunately, Tom, we hear a lot about the declining population of hunters and the alleged declining popularity of hunting. What do you feel the future for hunting holds?
I really hope it's not going by the wayside. It's the most primitive kind of thing you can end up doing. It's what the Indians did when we were, you know, when they were first harvesting the land. It's not like you're cultivating animals and, you know, grain feeding them. It's the most natural thing you can end up doing. I really hope that it's not going by the wayside there with people thinking that, oh, it's so negative and so you're killing innocent animals and you're raising them and it's so easy. And for all those people who think that hunting is easy, it's not easy at all. You know, you're sitting there and you're waiting in the cold and the rain and the wind for just the perfect opportunity and the perfect shot and everything to come along just the right way. You know, you want to teach these young kids and the young hunters the right way to do it and the proper way, and that it is the most beautiful thing you can do in the world is seeing an animal in the woods and being able to harvest it. Mm-hmm. I really hope it's going to continue that way, and not be something that's looked at in a bad light. That somebody says, "Oh, you know, you're a mean and evil person. How could you end up doing that to an innocent animal?" And that's not the way it is. And for all the hunters who've been out there and put in that time and sat in the stand for hours and days or weeks and not seeing a thing, that it's not the way that people portray it, to say, oh, you're just shooting an innocent animal and it just walks by and you're pulling a trigger and that's what it is.
Right. Tom, you're a big hunter. You're a passionate hunter. You watch all the TV shows. You read articles, magazines, and so forth. You know, a lot of these shows, of these articles, profile hunting outside of New York State. You know, whether it be in states like Illinois or Wisconsin, or Kansas, whatever the case may be. What do you see differently from what you're seeing on these shows and what you see here in hunting in New York?
The hunting in the Midwest seems to be that they're more geared towards setting up just the right show or just the right shot and over crops and managed lands, as opposed to New York. You end up being, you know, you're out in the woods and you're looking to find just the right location and what's the best location for it. The feeding of the animals, whether it's grain fed or, you know, corn that's in the area. New York it could be the same as what you have in Illinois. You have the same kind of crops that end up going there, but it's one of those things where they pick and choose just the right areas or just the right animals that they're looking at. Animals are raised for hunting purpose in those spots, you know, to make it look glorious and to glorify the big animals. Oh, you want to say, oh, you want to see a buck that's got, you know, 12-point buck that you won't see in New York, you see in Illinois because, you know, Pike County is the place to be.
Right. Right.
You could have the same ones in New York just as well, as long as the conditions are right.
Right. You've hunted. Now I want to talk. We talked about comparing out of state and to New York State. Let's just talk about New York State. You've hunted upstate. You've hunted on the island.
Hunted upstate and in the island, correct.
What makes the two different?
Oh, the temperature.
Temperature.
Oh, it's colder upstate New York. Without a doubt. It's definitely colder upstate. The terrain is a little bit different. It's there's more. The terrain is difficult upstate compared to the island. It's a lot flatter area. You don't see the crops that you see upstate. They see the island is whatever's whatever they grow up. You don't see big farms on the island. Upstate, you're seeing the big corn crops, or you're seeing big apple tree areas and orchards, big hills, and it's definitely a more difficult terrain to deal with upstate than it is on the island. But for some reason, you end up seeing big bucks on the island. It's the way it is. I don't know why. You see big bucks there.
Right. You have any particular hunting goals right now, Tom?
Hunting goal. I'd love to shoot something that's 10 points plus.
10 points.
Yeah, I'm at 8 now, so it's got to be 10 plus at this point.
Right. Like we said, Tom, you're an avid hunter. You watch the TV shows. You watch Outdoor Channel. You read the magazines, like we talked about. Is there any particular hunting show or hunting publication that you would recommend to fellow hunters?
Oh, without a doubt, IHE.
IHE. That's
the way to go.
All right. In that vein, and this is the last question, Tom. How do you feel that your membership in IHE and us as an organization can move forward towards promoting and preserving the sport and the tradition that we love?
Oh, teach the young kids. To bring up the young ones and let them know the right way and the proper way of hunting and with the benefits that you could have for it and everything they can enjoy out of hunting. That it's not the way some people portray it as this is bad, and it's an enjoyable